want to share a little bit more information what we're planning to do. So, Zensu, why don't you present those three major items that we decided to discuss with the community?
Absolutely. Due to the fact that there's many different variables into designing this bridge, and we need some freedom of innovation in order to make this bridge the most powerful it ever can be. What we can say at this stage is the forward-looking statement for the bridge is that we are planning to allocate 300 million XN for this bridge. This is not a conversion straight up, which there had been many misconceptions of. There will be a 3-year progressive lockups with amplified conversion, both EVMPX and BVMPX buyers and minters. What we need is to create a market for supply on both sides. We need the building blocks to build a bridge. We need a balanced liquidity on both sides. So yes, that's pretty much it.
So, just a few days ago, I made a tweet on Twitter where I said that we were considering that maybe only minters of EVMPX should get this 300 million XN token conversion option, which is, again, I want to stress it's optional. After thinking more about that, we have decided actually that not only the minters, but the buyers of EVMPX should get the rights to allocation. And again, that's 300 million tokens of XN. And you should be able to, whether you minted it through a mint rush or you bought it on the market, you should be able to optionally convert to XN when X1 is actually live. Now, we also thought that it definitely would serve the community really well to include, and I want to stress include, minters of Bitcoin VMPX and buyers of BVMPX. So if you bought BVMPX on Bitcoin side on the market, you will have an optional conversion up to the supply of 300 million XN while that supply lasts. And we will also be working and disclosing the schedule, how it's done. It will not be done instantly. So, like, in other words, do not think that if you buy all of the VMPX on the market, you will be able to convert instantly to 300 XN. There will be a progressive schedule where you convert over time, which will actually allow for a gradual adoption of the conversion. So, in other words, the main message that we want to deliver today that we have 300 million XN allocation. This allocation will be distributed over time. Both Bitcoin and Ethereum VMPX, whether you minted it or bought it, will have an option to convert into that allocation. So that's kind of like the major messages today. So it's not just one, it's not just the minters, it's both. And the reason why it's both, because we want to maintain one-to-one relationship between those tokens for the bridge. And the only way to do it is to treat them equally. So we cannot just say that, hey, you have to be a minter on the Ethereum side, you have to be a buyer on the Ethereum side. Actually, we want to include buyers and minters on the Bitcoin side as well, and that will make it fair for all the participants of VMPX markets. And ultimately, we want to scale our community. So the reality of the situation is that the market is just going to continue to grow on the BRC20 side. It can hit, by my estimation, and this is again a forward-looking statement, I think it will hit $50 billion in within the next 12 months, just because people are so excited. There's so much being built. So that being said, that just serves our community better. It's going to get more people in. It's going to create more value, and there's more ways to get into the X1 ecosystem, X1 blockchain once we get it off the ground.
We are going deep in the game theory of exactly, and parallel to this is to build up the components of this bridge, but also to build up the tech, which is going to support it. So there's a lot of work to be done there. The objectives is to incentivize liquidity, fees generated goes to X1 with conversion. So it's a fee generating machine. We really think this is a power feature, a powerful component into X1 that's not only going to bridge the gap, but also make, as I talked about in my video, generate fees for the chains that also work in synergy with the deflationary activity going on X1 with the transactions as well. So there's a lot of uncertainty as to exactly how the bridge will work, and that's why it's impossible for us to say more in detail how the incentive mechanism should work. But the only thing we are saying right now with this statement is that we are having an allocation for the bridge to work with multi-year progressive lockups. So that means that we're incentivizing liquidity for a long time and incentivizing delayed gratification for it to work in the most optimal way. And we should talk a little bit before we go into the AMA, where you guys can ask us anything. We should mention probably a little bit about the mint rush on the upcoming 4th of July. So as you know, two of the components is the supply on both sides. So we mimicked the contract on the Bitcoin side. We have created a Solidity smart contract to work on Ethereum that mimics the mint process on the Bitcoin side, where it's capped to 108,624,000 eVMPX tokens on the Bitcoin side. So it's a fixed supply, and 108,624,000 is a vampire number. So we have these two components. They're going to be distributed in what we call a mint rush on Xendependence Day on the 4th of July. We have arranged so there will be multiple fireworks all over the world, mainly in America, I think, on this day. And Jack, what can we say about the mint rush? How the contract is being built, and also can Xenians go and try out this right now?
Yes, Xenians can go and try it out right now on the X1 DevNet, the older Polygon-based DevNet that's a little bit slower, but it still works pretty well. The mechanics of the contract, as you mentioned, mimics the exactly the same tokenomics and the same supply. The only difference is with Ethereum is that it's a contract. It is a smart contract, but it has no admin keys and it's completely immutable. And the code that's loaded into the block explorer can be visible right there. You can see that there's no admin keys of any sort. So anybody who is coming in with and willing to mint or wanting to mint or choosing to mint, all they need to do is spend some gas to produce VMPX for themselves. So in this way, just like Bitcoin, community mints their own tokens fairly for themselves. They can also buy them off the market once those become available from the people who have minted. In terms of the details of how long this mint rush likely to last, I estimate it's going to last between 8 to 12 hours before being completely minted out. The way that the contract is set up, it has this power slider. It goes from 1 power to 195 power. 195 or maximum power will basically take over the whole block of the Ethereum. So Ethereum block is about 30 million gas, and you will be able to receive 39,000 tokens, 39,000 VMPX, if you choose to mint with the whole block. It would be expensive because blocks on Ethereum are expensive, and you will be bidding against other people to take over that block, and you will get the maximum supply per block. There's 2,600 or so blocks within the 9-hour period. If you roughly take 40,000 units of tokens per block, that's when the supply is going to be completely minted out in about 8, 9, maybe 10 hours, maybe 12, who knows, based on the engagement. So ultimately, what this means is that, again, our team does not get any allocation whatsoever. the supply starts at zero, people coming in, and if there's no one coming in, and if the GUI on Ethereum is low, then the mint price is going to be minimal in terms of gas spent. If there is really a mint rush and a lot of people come in, we do expect GUI to rise. So people need to exercise caution in terms of how much gas they want to spend, because those transactions are irreversible once you commit. If your transaction is validated and accepted, then your gas fees will be burned. It will further make Ethereum more deflationary, obviously, and you will get your VMPX tokens in return. But you will not be able to reverse that transaction, so be very, very careful. There's no refunds for gas because that's not how Ethereum blockchain is designed. So 2,500, 2,600 blocks. Each block will produce about 40,000 VMPX while supply lasts. When supply ends, the contract will shut itself off and there will be no more produced ever. The timing of the mint rush is going to be July 4th, obviously. We kind of like playfully calling it Xendependence Day. And the start of the contract is going to be automated. In other words, there will be a block ID that we will match on. Any block above the block ID or whatever that block is will enable contract to be functional. That is when the mint rush begins. So it wouldn't be us pushing a button and turning it on. It would be the blockchain itself that starts the process.
Yeah, we'll post links to the mint process in the telegrams and on Twitter today, so you guys can try it out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the website is getvmpx.com. Currently, it's running on test.getvmpx.com. You'll have to switch to X1 DevNet. You need to have some XN tokens, which is the majority of our community already have, due to airdrops that we have been running since the beginning of DevNet being up. For you to get an airdrop, you have to mint an NFT on any chain, and you get proportional schedule of airdrops for XN gas tokens that we have presented in the past.
Should we put it up on Fastnet as well, you think, or just keep it on?
I don't think it's really necessary.
Right.
DevNet works fine. It's a little bit slower, but it works just okay. So I think it should just remain on DevNet, being Polygon based. It's very, very closely related to Ethereum. Remember, Zensu Fastnet has smaller blocks because that network can allow for blocks to be created in parallel, so the blocks can be smaller, and they need to be smaller to run a little faster. On Ethereum, the block size is 30 million gas. It's actually required to be larger so that more people can squeeze in more transactions, because the execution is sequential. You wait for every block to be validated before your transaction is committed, which is not the same thing on Fastnet. On Fastnet, I think our block size is about 10 million.